Welcome to the MMC University. My name is Ernest. I will be your instructor for today. We're gonna have some fun time. Okay, so today video we're gonna be broadcast that we're gonna do is gonna be a special one for the state of Michigan, the beautiful state of Michigan. Okay, so we're going to talk about insurance regulation for these topics for today. Hey, if it is the first time you find us, don't forget to like, put comments, because I love those comments. When you guys post those comments, that keep me going. Okay. Also share. If you have some people that you know gonna be able to learn from those videos, share them with them as well. Don't just keep them to yourself, because don't keep us a secret. And also we're working into the website for you guys, so we're gonna put it live. So in case you guys probably have a special session that you want, then you can go ahead to go to the website. You'll be able to contact us directly. All right, really appreciate you guys. Let's get to work. We're gonna fasten your seatbelt and we're gonna get this thing going. Yeah, you gotta have some fun. Get your coffee ready. All right, have your coffee and have your water. Sometime you might have to take some water break. Just like that. Wow, this water is so good. Okay, so let's get to work. All right, so let's see if I can go ahead and give you guys some explanation and some of those things here. There's some other video that I already posted about law and regulation. So don't be surprised, you'll find some information that's here also that I already explained in some of the video for the state of Florida, okay? So let's talk about some terms that you need to know for your state of Michigan, okay? Let's talk about, first of all, about cease and desist. What does that mean? It means to stop or discontinue. Pretty much the regulators can come to you, say that I feel like you're doing something. I kind of smell the fire, you know, the smoke. I don't see it, but I smell it. I can feel like there's the smoke going on here. So they want to make sure that, hey, let's take care of that before you get worse. All right. That's pretty much what they're saying. They feel like you're doing something wrong. They might try to issue you a cease and desist order. What about coercion? What is that? When you see the word coercion, it's mean intimidation, forceful, just like a threat. It's just like they try to make you do something maybe that you don't want to do, okay? So coercion, we're going to cover that as well. Commission, okay, that's for you. If you're watching me, not because you always want to see Ernest. I love her, hearing Ernest, crazy Ernest talking in my head, okay? That's the reason you want to hear me here. You come here to learn so you can go make some moolah, money, okay? Money. So commission, that's the money that you get paid, all right? It's a percentage of whatever the policy premium is. That's what you get paid as an agent or producer. Commissioner is the head of the beautiful state of Michigan. So that's the commissioner. That's the big guy. Disclosure, that's information you need to reveal to your clients, okay, to educate them so they can make an informed decision about the policy that you're selling. Inducement, yeah, I want to induce you. You know, I will explain that later on. When you try to induce somebody, it's just like, hey, listen, if you do this, I'm going to do this, okay? I want you to understand that. It's just a way to just to make the person, give them a sweetener to do something, okay? Restitution is to get back or repayment, get it back to the status previously. You just start to restoration pretty much to the original condition. Statute is a form of written law by legislature. Insurance statute can be found in the state of insurance code. Also, we're going to talk about subpoena. It's an order for someone to appear as a witness or a testimony for evidence, right? It look like I need to cut those I call it those beards. I don't want to say bad word into the video. Lucky I'm not lying. Sticking beards. I'm gonna cut them off. Supplies line. Okay, is the insurance not available from an otherwise insurer placed with the non-admitted insurers who specialize in offering insurance in the highest risk market? That's surplus line. So let's get to work. we're going to talk about licensing first of all. Type of licenses. Okay, so why you need to get licensed? The insurance professional must be properly licensed. I'm talking to you. So you need to be licensed in order for you to sell insurance. Okay, that's an authority they're gonna give you to sell insurance, to transact insurance business. All right. So now the purpose of licensing is to ensure that the producer meets educational and ethical standard required to fulfill the producer responsibility, okay, to the insurance company and also to the public. So there is a certain information, knowledge that you need to know. That's why they want you to be licensed. That's what you are listening to me right now, because the government, the state want you, there's certain of information you need to know in order for you to be in that business. Okay. An insurance producer is a person required to be licensed under the law of this state to sell, which means Michigan. Okay. Also, if you want to sell, you got to make sure you have a license. If you're doing solicitation, you must have a license. If you are negotiating insurance or claim in the state of Michigan, so you need to make sure you're properly licensed to do so. So in the state of Michigan, insurance producers may be issue licenses for one of the following line of things, because pretty much this is what you can be licensed for in the state of Michigan. Life insurance is coverage for human life. So pretty much most people who's watching this, you're doing it because of life insurance. Also, you can be licensed for accident and health or sickness. That's for people who want to get health insurance or maybe a disability insurance. Also, you can get licensed for variable life insurance and variable annuity. Those are coverage under like, there's some of it that's insurance, there's some of it that's investment. So if you want to do that, you also need to be licensed. Property, that's coverage for direct or consequential loss or damage to a property, okay, such as maybe a house, okay. Also, casualty, coverage against legal liability. Maybe you might have a business, you want to protect it. Also, personal line, non-commercial properties, okay, that's mean residential, not commercial. Credit, that's for debt insurance, because that's limited line. You need a limited line. So there's some people, you might be going to buy a house, but they want you to have a credit life insurance, or maybe any other kind of insurance that you need to make sure you get licensed. So those are the type of license you can have in the beautiful state of Michigan. So let's talk about producer, okay? Producer that I'm talking about, it's you. It's the applicant for a resident license. So in order for you to be licensed, you must meet certain criteria. Number one, you must be a resident of the state of Michigan. You have to reside in that state. Now, there's a difference. That doesn't mean you have to be born in that state, reside in that state. You have to be at least 18 years old. So if you're not 18, I'm sorry, we can't get you a license. Okay. I know there's a lot of like 16-year-olds, very intelligent, that could have passed that test, but unfortunately, we can't get you. You're gonna have to wait. Okay, you have to wait. Also, you have to possess a reasonable understanding of the insurance law in Michigan, intend in good faith to act as a producer. Also, you have to be honest. You have to be trustworthy. Also, you have to possess a good business reputation. Also, you have to have good morals, character, because they want people that are not going to hurt other people into the insurance business. Complete a pre-licensing education class. So you have to be completing a licensing class, unless if you waive. Lucky you if you got a waive. Okay, I don't know how easy for you to get waived in the state of Michigan, but there is some time that can happen. Also, complete the application process. There's an application you have to go through in the state of Michigan to be licensed. Also, you need to maintain at least one appointment, okay, at all time for each active qualification. Okay, order break time. So not only you have to maintain an appointment at all time, but you also have to pass the applicable examination. So there's an examination for all those licenses. So you have to be able to pass that. Then that's why you are studying this. But also the commissioner will also collect some information from you. So I'm going to cover some of those quickly. I don't know if they'll be tested or not. I'm not sure anything. Okay. So $5 for your appointment, for your agent appointment. There's $5 fee that goes there. There's a $25 filing fee for the original authorization to transact insurance in its domestic or foreign alien insurer. Also, there's a $10 application fee for the initial applicant for license as a resident or agent or non-resident agent or surplus line agent or solicitor or counselor or an adjuster. So there's a $10 fee for that. There's another $10 for solicitor fees, licensee. Okay. There's a $10 for insurance counselor fee. There's a $10 for license examination fee. Also, there's a $100 surplus line agent license fee each year. Those are the fees that the commissioner will charge in order for you to be licensed. I hope that makes sense. So what this saying is, in order for you to be licensed, there's fee get involved. Now, does that mean they might ask you exactly the amount of the fee? Maybe, but that's why I'm covering that so you can see. There's $10, there's a $5, there's $25, and most of them is $10, and there's $100. Counselor. A counselor is an insurance counselor, is a person licensed to perform the following duty. So in order for you to call yourself a counselor in the beautiful state of Michigan, you have to be able to perform certain duties like audit or abstract insurance policy or annuity. You have to be able to do that, to audit a policy, to abstract a policy, or maybe an annuity. It's not just insurance, also an annuity. Also, you have to be able to provide advice. If they want to call you a counselor, you have to be able to provide the advice, okay, counsel, okay, or opinion concerning benefits, concerning coverage, concerning the terms, concerning the advantage or disadvantage of the policy or the annuity. So you have to be able to explain those things to the clients. Also, you advertise and solicit business as an insurance counselor. So in order for you to do those duties, so you don't just go out there and say, oh, you know, I'm a counselor, while you cannot perform those things I just explained. Also, an applicant for a counselor license must possess a reasonable understanding, okay, of the provisions, of the terms, and the condition of the type of insurance he or she wishes to counsel. So if you want to counsel whole life, term, or annuity, so you have to make sure you know the provision, the term, the condition of that policy that you are willing to counsel, as well as a reasonable understanding of the Michigan Insurance Code. A good business reputation and a good moral character. So what they're saying is, in order for you to be called yourself a counselor, there is something that you need to meet. There's some criteria you have to meet. You have to be in good standing. You have to be able to explain the thing to the client, to provide information to the client, the term of the contract, the condition of the contract. Okay, so you cannot try to call yourself a counselor while you cannot explain those things to the client. Also, you need to know the counselor will keep a copy of the agreement for at least 2 years after the completion of the service. So you have to keep that for at least 2 years. That's called record keeping. All right. So let's continue. What is business entity? A business entity means a corporation, an association, a partnership, or a limited liability company. We're calling an LLC, or maybe a limited liability partnership. Maybe any other legal entity. That's a business entity. I'm doing business as. Okay. A business entity acting as an insurance producer must obtain an insurance producer license. So even though it's a business entity, you still have to have a producer license. A business entity application will not be approved unless the commissioner finds that the business entity has complied with the following requirements. So in order for you to become a business entity, you have to pay the required fee. Of course, everybody should know that. Oh, come on. We're big kids now. We're vaccinated. We should know what that means. So pay dues where you're supposed to. It's not free because they still have to make money too. So therefore, hey, pay them their money. You can become a business entity. Don't just open your business and you have no licenses and then let the state coming after you. Don't do that. Okay. Also, you have to have designated an individual license, somebody who's licensed for responsible for the business entity compliance with the state of insurance law of the rules and regulation. So you have to have somebody there also to make sure everything get in place, everything is working fine. And also not committed any act that is ground for denial, suspension, or revocation. So that's when don't do bad stuff. So anybody can have an entity, but make sure you have to go to the proper channel to do so. So what about residents and non-resident? What does that mean? So right now I'm in Florida. Okay, I can have my license appointed in Michigan, any state. If my home state is Florida, so I get a license in Michigan I'm gonna have a non-resident license. So if now for us who's in study for Michigan, your home state would be Michigan. So you can have a resident license in Michigan, but you can also have a license in Florida or New York or Tennessee or Texas. Those will be non-resident license. That's when you don't reside there, except you're doing business in those states. So therefore, you have to pay some type of fee in order for you to do that. But you have that as well. You have to have be at least 18 years old. Okay. Anyone who was previously licensed, but you have to have a license in your home state first. So I don't want to hear that. Oh, Ernest said that, oh, I can have license in all the state, but you think like without taking your home state license first. You got to be licensed in your home state first. I said, duh, yeah, I got to be licensed in my state, then you can have license in those other states. So the same qualification to another state is required to complete with pre-license education and examination. So this only available to the following situation. The application is received within 90 days of the cancellation of another license. So in order to have that, okay, the application must be received in 90 days. So the prior state issue a certification that the applicant was in good standing. So also need to understand, you can take your state from Michigan to another. If you resign, let's say you not just like, you don't want to know this, you don't want to stay in Michigan any longer, but you want to move to Texas. So when you go to Texas, you have to become a resident of Texas first. 90 days from now, make sure you apply for your license. So you don't have to do everything. 90 days, you have to do that. Then you can become a resident licensed in Texas. But you also have to be in good standing in Michigan. So don't just do some people might do some bad stuff in Michigan, but guess what? They want to go to Texas, so Texas not gonna find that out I was bad in Michigan. So I move down there. No, folks, not like that. You have to be in good standing in your home state as well. That's been the previous state that you have. The person is currently licensed in another state. You have to be licensed in the current state. If this person is currently licensed, they must apply to become a resident license in 90 days of establishing legal residence. So again, I would explain that. That's what I mean. Temporary license. So let's talk about this. So you can have a temporary license. A temporary license is something you get just temporary. The commissioner may issue a temporary producer license without requiring a written examination. To some people, not everybody, somebody like a surviving spouse of a deceased producer. So if I'm married, then I pass away, then they can give my wife a temporary license because I was the one licensed. Oh, that's a good thing. Thank you, Michigan. You do a pretty good thing. They're looking after the surviving spouse. Better be happy to be in that state. Okay. Also, if a producer becomes mentally or physically disabled. So if the person becomes disabled, the producer, then that can be another reason why they can issue a temporary license. Or maybe they can do it to a designing of a licensed producer entering active service U.S. Armed Force. So if that person can go to the U.S. Armed Force, so they can also give them part of the military things if that's what you're doing. So because of that, of course, we're gonna give you a temp license. But how long is the temp license? That's what you need to know. 180 days. How long is the temp license I can have it for? 180 days. Who can get it? A deceased surviving producer, surviving spouse, a deceased of a surviving spouse, if I say it that way, or a surviving spouse where the producer passed away, all right? Or maybe somebody who's mentally or physically disabled, or maybe somebody was in the U.S. Armed Force. Those are the people that can have that. Not your neighbor, okay? Not your neighbor. How is the process goes? Here's the process. Applicant for resident license in Michigan must successfully complete pre-licensing education approved, either self-study or classroom. So you can do it online, no problem, or you can go to, now this is not the class. What I'm doing here is not the class. It's not a certified class where you come in here, oh, I'm gonna just listen to Ernest and then get, no. No, I'm just helping you to understand the material. This is not a class, okay? So you have to go to a class either online or you have to go to a physical class. But how long? 20 hours if you just do the life portion of it. If you just the life license you're doing, 20 hours. If you're gonna do both life and health, you need 40-hour pre-licensing class. All right, good luck to that. When the applicant license is submitted, okay, so you must apply for, when should you have to let them know? So the applicant must file a certificate of completion of the pre-licensing course taken to prove that the course were not taken more than 12 months before the commissioner received the application. So once you take the class, you complete it, you have 12 months to let them know. So you don't have to stay forever. No, matter of fact, you should let them know right away the class is completed. Because if you submit the application and then after like 13 months, after you complete the class, so you're out of luck. So know those numbers. For 20 hours for life, 40 hours for life and health, but you have 12 months after you complete, you submit the application, 12 months, make sure you get after the completion to let them know, okay, you do that. No more than that. The commissioner may waive pre-licensing requirement for some people. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Some of you might say, well, what about me? Should I take it? Yes. What about me? Do I have an exception? Yes, you can have the exception. This is how you have the exception. Apply for a limited line license to do the credit life. So then you don't need to be licensing. Maybe you has been a licensed insurance producer within the past 12 months. So if you've been licensed for 12 months, so you don't need that. Maybe you has obtained and approved. Of course, when you say 12 months, because the pre-licensing probably already completed, that's okay. You're still licensed for 12 months. Pretty much you're good. You know what you're doing. So 12 months. Maybe you has obtained and approved designation, chartered property and casualty underwriter, or maybe an accredited advisor in an insurance. So you can have an exception for that. Maybe you has an associate or maybe a bachelor's or master's degree with concentration on insurance from an approved association. So good luck to that. If you have an associate or a bachelor's just in insurance, then you can have a waiver. Other than that, all of us. Well, Ernest, you didn't mention me. Yes, of course not. That's why you got to watch my videos. Okay, unless a license is revoked or suspended, it remains in effect for as long as the education requirements are met. Okay, in the green area, I'm reading, every license must contain the license's name, address, personal identification number, the date of insurance, and the qualifications, expiration date, and any other information the commissioner considered necessary. So make sure you know that. A person cannot accept commission for selling or solicit or negotiating insurance without being properly licensed. What they're saying is you cannot take any commission from anybody who's not licensed. So if you license, yes, you guys can share commission, okay? Or the break. And if at any point you want to take a order break as well, feel free to do so. Because you can take break, pause the video, and continue. All right, so how do you maintain the license and duration? How do you do that? In insurance, excuse me, an insurance producer license remain in effect unless suspended or revoked. So as long as you renew it, you're good to go. Once you pass that exam, you never have to go take it again. Now, also some people don't do what they're supposed to do. They don't renew, okay? They renew and they don't pay their fee, their appointment fee. So because of the audit, they don't do their continuing education requirement are not met. So their license lapse. The license become lapse. So, excuse me, because the license is lapse, a producer who allow his or her license to lapse may reinstate the same license without passing a written examination. But the only way you're gonna do that if your producer does so. Now, if you do it in 12 months, after 12 months, you have to do everything all over again. Wow. After 12 months, make sure you don't let that happen to you because you don't want to go to that stage. So please, if you don't know how to do your CE, your continuing education, and you need help and work through it, go to our website. We're going to have links for you later on to be able to contact us for help if you need help. Okay. Now, we ain't going to do it for you. Okay. We're just going to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you can go by doing it. But we're not going to do it for you. So you have to make sure you do your CE. Very important. That's how you keep your license. The way you keep it, it's just like do your oil change, your continuing education. I don't know what oil change have to do with this. With that, but no, what I'm saying is after 3,000 miles, 4,000 miles, you change, right? Your oil in your car. So same thing to keep your car running, you do that. And then to keep your license running, you have to do your maintenance, your CE. Okay, if you let that happen, you know. So let's talk about the continuing education, CE. So you have to do in your state, which is Michigan, 24 hours. Know that. You need to know that. How many? 24 hours. When? Every 2 years. Every 2 years you have to do that. But from that 24 hours, 3 hours in ethics. This is a must. You need to know that stuff. Okay? 24 hours. You have to do every 2 years. How often? Every 2 years. How many hours? 24. From the 24, how many must be in ethics? 3. After that, you can also, but you cannot do no more. Okay. Any additional CE hours completed by the licensee in current review prior may be carried over to the next review period up to 12 hours. Oh, very lucky. So in Michigan, they allow you to do up to 12 hours extra. So if you do 14 hours extra, only 12 will carry over. So don't try to say, oh, you know what, Ernest, I do this. Since I have to do 24 hours every 2 years, how about if I do 48 hours? So I don't have to do it the following 2 years. No, honey. It don't work like that. Okay. So you're gonna waste your money. Okay. Don't do that. You're gonna waste your money in that CE. Okay. So what you need to do, if you do 36, so 24 gonna count, the other 12 gonna carry over. The CE review date is determined by the licensee month of year of birth. So at least 12 months after the issuance of the initial license. So producer born in an even number, that's mean 2022 is an even year. Okay, 1987 is an odd number. So now if you are born on an even year, you are required to complete your CE requirements into an even number of years. So that's been 2 years. So if you, for example, in 2022, you pass license now and you're born in an odd number. So 2022, 2023, 24, you have to do it 2025 because you have to do it 2 years on the odd number because you're born in an odd year, like 1987. But if you're born 1988, then you have to do 2024 because every 2 years on the even based on your date of birth. Make sure you understand that. What about those of you that have license in different states? Non-resident licensing. So if you have a non-resident license, so they can waive your CE requirements as long as the other state acknowledge your CE you do on your home state is good. If it's not good enough, they might ask you to do their own CE in that non-resident. Most of the time, they don't do that. So CE requirements may be waived if the commissioner determined that meeting this requirement would be cause severe hardship, such as terminal illness of self or spouse that require an ordinate amount care by the licensee or military duty. So they can give you a chance. If you got somebody that's sick in your family, you really need, you're the one that can actually help them, nobody else can. So they can give you a waiver to do that. If an insurance producer has not met his or her CE requirement by the expiration date of the license will be suspended for a period of 90 days. So if you don't do your CE, your license will be suspended for 90 days or until the 24 hours requirement is met. So if you don't do it, your license will be suspended. During the suspension, you cannot do anything. You cannot do business. You cannot transact anything, any insurance at all. All carrier appointment will be notified that you are in suspension mode, so they will not accept any of your business. So please don't let that happen to you. If a licensee failed to earn the required CE credit by the expiration of the 90 days, the license will be terminated for education. So to be considered to reinstate within the 1 year, which is the 12 months, so you must do the following. Complete the CE, the 24 hours. Don't forget 3 of them have to be in ethics. And you have to submit an application for licensure at the time. It's too much work. Why you have to do that? You have to now go to a producer with registry and IPR website to do that. The National Insurance Producer Registry. Why you have to do all this? Just, if you know you're gonna be in the business, be in the business. Do your CE. Pay the appropriate licensing fee. And less problem for you. So I think that's enough for the CE. Let's talk about assumed names. An insurance producer doing business under any other name, then the producer legal name must notify the commissioner prior to do so. So if you're gonna do business, you're not choosing your name. Like if my name is Ernest, I'm not doing Ernest, I'm gonna do XYZ company name. I gotta let them know. Okay. So if you're gonna change your name, your legal name or mailing address, electronic address, you have to let them know in 30 days. So if you're gonna change your name, address, electronically, it doesn't matter. You have to make sure you let them know 30 days. What happens if I don't do that, Ernest? What's gonna happen to me? You're gonna pay a fee. They're gonna charge you for not doing so. And they're gonna like that because you're gonna give them a way to get money. Reporting action. What about if you go to jail? What happens if I get arrested? If I got a misdemeanor, a felony, you got 30 days to report that to the commissioner. So within 30 days after the initial things happen, you have to let them know that something happened to you. But let's go ahead reporting. It's not just that, but let's go ahead and do some reading here. An insurance producer must report to the commissioner any administrative action taken against the producer. So that's mean if you get in trouble with the government, with the state, so you got 30 days after the final disposition to let them know. This report must include a copy of the order, consent of the order, and the relevant legal documents. So within 30 days after the initial pretrial hearing date, an insurance producer must report to the commissioner any criminal prosecutions of the producer taken in any jurisdictions and provide a copy of the initial complaint filed, the order resulting from hearing, or any other relevant legal documents. So if an insurer terminates the producer, the commissioner must be notified within 30 days. If after the action was taken against you and you got terminated by any chance, So 30 days, you have to report that to the commissioner. If not, you know what happened? You get into more trouble. In additional information, if additional information is discovered, the commissioner should be notified immediately. Within 15 days of either action, copy of the application applicable notice must be mailed to the producer. Okay, so after they see what's going on, so they can within 15 days, they will send you notification, you as the producer. So now let's take a look at this right quick. Obtaining a license, you have to meet certain requirements, education and also examination. You have to pass the pre-licensing class, pass the exam, and you have to be 18 years old of age. You have to be a resident of that state. You have to be in good characters. Also, application you have to do and also pay fees. How do you maintain your license? CE every 2 years. You have to renew your license, pay the renewal fee. And if you change your current name, address, you got to let them know in 30 days. Also, in order for you to reinstate the license, you have to do that in 12 months, which is a year. Now, it's a good time right now. If you want to take a break, you can. If not, you can continue listening. Now, let's go to the next topics here. We talk about producer regulation. You as the agent, what's your duty? A person may not conduct insurance transactions or act as a producer or agent or solicitor, adjuster, or counselor unless properly licensed as required by the state of Michigan law. So an insurance producer license is not required to any officer. So in order for you to be licensed, you have to make sure you go through all that. But some people don't need to be licensed, like an officer, a director, an employee of an insurance company or organization. If you do not receive a commission, you don't need to be licensed. So this is a list of people who don't need to be licensed, because directors, employee, they don't need to be licensed. A director of an employee of a special agent assisting insurance, they don't need to be licensed. A person who's, because if you just have a job, you don't need to be licensed. So this is the whole list. I don't need to go to all that list. Maybe a salary full-time employee, they don't need to be licensed. As long as you don't receive a commission, you don't need to be licensed. If you're just working, doing clerical work, you don't need to be licensed. I think that's enough. You can go ahead with the whole list so you can see who should have a license or not. Fiduciary responsibility. What is that? Fiduciary is an agent, is a fiduciary. You as an agent, you are the fiduciary. Why you are a fiduciary? Because for all the money you receive or held by the agent, his or her capacity as an agent, because they trust you. Insurance company trusts you. The client trusts you. Back in the days, people used to collect the money. I don't know if companies still do that, which that would be crazy. Why would I have to collect cash money to send to the insurance company for that? That would be crazy. Today, you don't have to worry about too much, but it's still, what about when somebody passed away, they send you the death claim and you have to deliver it to the client? Maybe you could take that money, do whatever you want to do with it, even though you know you could get in trouble. But they trust you. The client trusts you, the company trusts you. So therefore, you're acting as a fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary. So pretty much what they're saying, folks, you're just handling somebody else's money in a trust capacity. When you take the premium, you forward it to the company, you're acting as a fiduciary. When you're collecting the premium, you're acting as a fiduciary. When you get the claim check, you bring it to the client, you're acting as a fiduciary responsibility. So you're handling the client or the insurance money in a trust capacity. No commingling. What does that mean? Do not mix the insurance money with your money. That's why back in the day, you have to have a separate account. You cannot put the insurance money into your own personal account. No mixing. Okay? You have to make sure you keep them separate. Commission. A producer may share commission. You can with another licensed agent. So what does that mean? Let's say you are in Michigan, and let's say I'm licensed in Texas. Let's say that you refer me to a client in Texas. If you're licensed in Texas as well, so we can share the commission because you licensed, I'm licensed. But if you're not licensed, we cannot share commission. There's something called deferred commission. That's when I can say commission they will pay you later. May be paid to the producer who is no longer licensed, as long as the person was licensed during the sale, solicitation, or negotiation. So what does that mean is you could do a policy for a client, and since you were already licensed, and you can still get paycheck, even though the license may not be active as of right now. So since you were licensed, they give you what we call a deferred commission. I think that would be nice. It is a violation, by the way, for a producer to share commission with an unlicensed individual to provide financial rewards or share commission with a person who may be provide producer with a sales lead. So you can't do that. So that's a violation. So if you do, now we're going to get to what we call disciplinary action. Now, those are not the best part of the deal, but guess what? You got to have fun learning the rule. You got to know the rule. Okay, there's not too much fun learning rule, but at the end of the day, you need to know so you don't get in trouble. So here's what they can do: disciplinary action, cease and desist order. So the insurance commissioner role is to enforce insurance law. They don't make the laws. Okay, they don't make laws. They enforce the law, and they protect the public from unfettered practice. If the commissioner suspect that the insurer or its agent or any licensed person has committed a violation or is engaged in unfettered practice, the commissioner may issue a statement or what we call a charge or hold a hearing for any purpose deemed necessary within the scope of the insurance. So what this saying is, if we feel like we see something you might be doing or your agent probably doing like that can cause a violation, we might want you to come for a hearing whenever that's necessary. And you can't tell, no, I'm not coming. No, you have no say on that. Now, if after the hearing, the commissioner determined that the person charged engaged in unfair method competition or unfair or deceptive act of or practice, the commissioner will issue cease and desist order, requiring the person to stop engaging in such an activity. So there's something if you stop doing them, you start doing those things, and they are in violation to the code of insurance. So the commissioner can say, you know what, you need to stop that. Okay, you need to stop that. After we hear what's going on, we need to stop that. Now, if the person knowingly violates the cease and desist order, and we tell you not to do it, and you do it, so okay, so now you just choose not. You've been pig-headed. You don't want to listen. So we're gonna put. It's just like when you have a kid listen. I tell you to sit down, and they could say no. After they sit down, 5 more minutes, you say, please. I tell you sit down, and they don't sit down, you say, now you try to give them bow. So it's just they slap you on your in your hand because they tell you not to do what you do. They can charge you a civil fine of $20,000 for each violation, not exceed it to $100,000. So you don't want to go to that. If they tell you, give you a cease and desist order, don't violate that because that's going to cost you $20,000, 20 grand, and it's not going to exceed 100,000. But imagine if you keep doing that, they can suspend. You can go to suspension or revocation of your license or both. So you got to be very careful. This is something that they can suspend you or revoke your license or refuse to issue or renew your license. The commissioner may place a probation or suspension, revocation, or refuse to issue a producer license for any of the following. That's a whole list. You might have to read some of those, okay? Maybe you provide incorrect information or misleading information or material untrue statement in the application. Maybe violation of any insurance laws. Maybe subpoenas, regulation. Maybe you're obtaining or attempting to obtain a license through a misrepresentation or fraud. Maybe you improperly withhold or misappropriating or converting any money or property received in the course of doing insurance business. Maybe you're intentionally misrepresenting the term or proposal of insurance contract. Maybe you have been convicted of a felony. Maybe you use like fraud. Maybe you're making like anything that you should not be doing. Maybe you're forging another's name, application, and insurance contract. Maybe you're knowingly accepting insurance business from an individual who's not licensed. Maybe you're failing to comply with the order of the court or whatever they issue you. Maybe you fail to pay single business tax. There's a lot of things that can get you in trouble. And that's the whole list. So once you're with this list, you should know what you should do, what you should not be doing. And if you do those things, okay, well, we're going to give you penalties. We're going to fine you. Any person found guilty of a violation of the insurance code, here's what we're going to do to you. We're going to payment of a civil fine up to $1,000 each violation, up to $5,000 for willful violation, not exceed $50,000. So if you don't know, we're going to charge you $1,000. If you know, and you know what you're doing, so that's when you would keep repeating the same thing. So we're going to start charging you $5,000. A refund or any overcharge. Okay. Restitution of insured or other claimant to cover incur losses, damages, or other harm attributable to the act of a person found in a violation. So you have to repay back those clients that you get injured, that you damage. Also, a penalty they can give you, the suspension or revocation of your license. Now, if any person found guilty of misrepresenting term of policy or inducing a policyholder to lapse, forfeit, surrender, or replace an insurance, will be found guilty of a misdemeanor and will be fined up to $2,000 each violation, or at the discretion of the court. Also, they can put you in jail. So that's mean stay out of trouble. Good. So now you know what you should not be doing. That's for you as an agent. Also, what about company regulation? Now, company regulation. So producer appointments. An insurance producer cannot act as an agent of an insurer unless the insurance producer become an appointed agent to the insurer. So what this saying is, in order for you to represent a company, they have to appoint you. So don't say, oh, you know what, Ernest, I just passed my exam, I'm ready to sell. You start telling all your friends, oh, you know what, come buy insurance for me. No, that's not how it works. You have to make sure, okay? You got to make sure you get appointed with the company. What a break. To appoint a producer in the blue as its agent, the appointing insurer must, that's when the insurance company must file a notice appointment within 15 days. How long? 15 days of the date of the agency contract is executed or the first insurance application is submitted. Upon receiving the notice of the appointment, the commissioner will verify that the producer is eligible for the appointment within 30 days. So 15 days after you submit the application, the insurance company gonna work on that stuff and they submit it to the commissioner, and the commissioner have 30 days to let you know if you're good to go. If the producer is determined to be ineligible for the appointment, the commissioner must notify the insurer within 5 business days. Pretty much 5 days. I don't want to say 5 business, 5 days determination. So if after you submit the information to the company, you submit it, they got 15 days to let you know you submit that, then they take it, send it to the commissioner, and the commissioner have 30 days to let you know. And if they find that you're not good, and they'll let your insurance company know, hey, you know what, so-and-so is not eligible for appointment, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Insurer, which is the insurance company, they appoint the producer to act as an agent. So then you become a producer. They file, the insurance company, they're also the one that file the agent appointments, and they pay the appointment fee. The Department of the Insurance to the Department of Insurance. But there's some companies that make you do everything. So if there's coming like that, I don't know, but could be. Number 2, termination of appointments. An insurer that terminates an appointment or employment or contract or other insurance business relationship with an agent producer, which is with you, must notify the commissioner within 30 days you're no longer our agent. So once they don't want you anymore, they got 30 days to let them know you're fired. Upon the written request of the commissioner, once they got it, the insurer may be required to provide additional information or records no later than 15 days after notify the commissioner. So if the commissioner wants more information, they got 15 days to comply. The insurer must mail a copy of the notification to the producer at his or her last known address. In the last address. How long? Within 30 days, they have to give you notification. You're no longer with us. Unfortunately, we apologize. We're downsizing, blah. So therefore, you cannot work for us anymore. They get 30 days, they let you know. Let me see. If the insurance producer authority to represent an insurer is terminated, the responsibility of the producer having property rights in the renewal will continue until the existing policy of insurance are canceled or replaced or have expired. Unfettered practice or other regulation. So unfettered practice you should not be doing. So those can still be violation. What is some things you should not be doing? Misrepresentation. What is representation? When you're telling the truth. What is misrepresentation? When you're not telling the truth. It is an illegal to issue, publish, or circulate any illustration or sales material that is false, misleading, or deceptive as policy benefit or term, or the payment of dividend. This is also referred to verbal statements. Committing this illegal act is called misrepresentation. If you're doing that stuff, please stop doing that, because you're doing misrepresentation, you will be in violation. False information and advertising. You should not do false advertising neither. Okay? Advertising cover a wide scope. So that's why all the advertising, it should be the insurance company that should make those advertising, because advertisement cannot include any untrue statement. Advertisements cannot include any untrue, deceptive, or misleading statement that apply to the business of insurance or anyone who conducts it. The violation of this called false advertising. No false advertising, all costs. Make sure everything is correct. Matter of fact, all the advertising is the insurance company responsibility, not you, to make them as agent producer. It is prohibited to advertise or circulate any material that are untrue, deceptive, misleading, false, or deceptive advertising, specifically include misrepresenting any of the following term. If you misrepresent that, the term, the benefit, the condition, the advantage, or any insurance policy, you're doing false advertising, misrepresenting. Don't do it. Any dividend to be received from the policy previously paid out, that's misrepresenting. Financial condition of any person in the insurance company, or the true purpose of assignment or loan against a policy. So any of this, if you're doing them, can be misrepresenting. So you be careful. Representing an insurance policy as a share of stock or using name, title that may represent the true nature of a policy also will be considered false advertising. Like you said, this company is a stock company. This company is a mutual company. Okay. So this will still be false advertising. There's another thing you have to know. False financial statements. Now that's where you're dealing with money. You're lying about monies now. False financial statements are those that are intended to deceive public officials or general public about financial condition of an insurer. This is often occurs when an important fact about the financial status of an insurer is deliberately withheld in order to present the company in a more favorable light. So let's say the company may not be financially solid. Maybe you might put false information to show it's good. Or maybe the company might be solid, or you use false information to make it look bad. An insurance require to furnish what we call an annual audited financial report will require an independent public accountant, what we call a CPA, in writing if it is determined that the insurer has materially misstated its financial condition. So if they feel that, they might want an independent public accountant to look on the financial statement to make sure this company financial statement is correct. This report must be submitted within how many days? 5 business days to the board of directors or its audit committee. So you have to submit that. So the insurer will furnish a copy of the report to the commissioner within 5 business days. Okay. But what happened if the independent public accountant failed to receive the evidence within the 5 business days prior? So because sometimes you might request that information, and if you can get it from the insurance company. So what can you do at the public, if you are the CPA or the independent public accountant? So you will furnish the copy of its report to the commissioner within the 5 business days. That, hey, I'll request the information, I didn't get it, who cares? So that's on the insurance company. Because if I want the information, don't provide it to me. So because I have 5 business days to comply. So when I request that from you, you have 5 business days to comply as well. Because the commissioner give us 5 business days. Just remember 5 business days for those financial statements when they get submitted. All right, so let's talk about rebating. Rebating is defined as any inducement offer to ensure the sale of insurance product that is not specified in the policy. Both the offer and the acceptance of a rebate are illegal. The person who offered the rebate, it's doing something illegal. The person who accepts the rebate, it's also doing something illegal. Rebates may be includes, but not limited to. Rebates of premium payable on the policy. So if you're gonna give them money back from that policy, so you should not be doing that. So rebating, it's illegal. You cannot rebate the premium. Or if you buy the policy, I will return the money back to you. Can't do that. A special favor or services. If you do this, you're gonna do a special favor for them. You can't do that neither. If you buy this policy from me, I'm gonna do this for you. No. Advantages in the dividend or other benefits. No, you can't get that neither. That's rebating. Or maybe in stocks, bonds, security, or other dividend profits. So that's a few, but not limited to those. Rebates may include. Those are rebates. Note that in this state, which is Michigan, of course, articles of merchandise with an invoice value of $5 or less for life insurance, agent, and $10 or less for property and casualty are not considered rebates and allow as gift insurance. So what they're saying is this: in order for it not to be considered rebate, it cannot be, if you just on life insurance, the gift cannot exceed $5. If you can evaluate it's more than $5, that's rebate. Let's say, for example, you're gonna buy a basketball game ticket for somebody if they buy a policy from you. That's rebate because it's more than $5. Well, you might say, Ernest, you don't understand. There's place in there where I can buy a ticket for only $5. There's ticket for $3. Yeah, but the regulator don't care about that. There's ticket also that's selling for $3,000. So how do I know you didn't give them one that $3,000? So therefore, it's rebate. Or I'm gonna let them use my car for 1 day, but that's still rebating because that's special favor. Because how do I know it's rebating? Because you let them use your car. If I was going to do a rental, it costs more than $5, don't you think? So that's rebating. If it is property and casualty, in order for it to be considered with bait, not to consider with bait, $10 or less. $10 or less. Okay. Now, let's talk about an inducement. What is that? It is unlawful to pay, offer, or accept any of the following inducement to buy life insurance: any special favor, an advantage of dividend or benefits, or any stocks, or you give them stock, bonds, securities, or maybe accrued dividend or profit. Anything of value not specified in the insurance contract, that's considered an inducement. So therefore, that's considered with baiting. So any person, insurer, agent, or other person who violates the insurance code statute on rebaiting and illegal inducement, it's guilty of a misdemeanor. So don't do it. If an insurer or agent has made any misrepresentation or incomplete comparison of a policy for the purpose of inducing someone to purchase or replace an insurance policy upon conviction, the offender will be sentenced to pay a fine up to $2,000 per violation, or in the discretion of the court, to imprisonment in the county jail. So if you do misrepresentation or incomplete comparison, there's a violation for $2,000, or they put you in jail. If a person has violated other statutes pertaining to rebates and illegal inducement, the person will be sentenced to pay a fine up to $100 per violation, or in the discretion of a court, or maybe to imprisonment to a county jail, not federal jail, county jail. The person license or certificate of authority will be revoked, and they cannot be reissued for at least 1 year. So they put you in suspension mode. What is defamation or deception? Defamation is when somebody oral or written statement made that intended to injure a person engaged in the insurance business. This is also to statement that maliciously critical of the financial condition of any person or a company. So in the Michigan Insurance Code, so that false, maliciously critical, or derogatory statement as financial condition, they consider defamation. So therefore, be careful what you say about insurance, about people or companies that in the insurance business. Okay? The making, the publishing, the disseminating or circulating directly or indirectly, or aiding, abetting, or encouraging the making or publishing, all these things that I'm just reading here in this template here. If they have any of those things you're doing to injure somebody in the insurance business, you violate defamation. You're doing defamation, so you can get in trouble for doing defamation. So please don't do it. Defamation, you need to know, is when you see maliciously critical statement. You're criticizing a company or a person. You try to injure them in the insurance business, so therefore you should not be doing something like that. 7, boycott, coercion, intimidation. This is an illegal act. You should not boycott anybody or coercion anybody or try to intimidate anybody that is to make them buy a policy, okay? To force them. So you go to get a loan from somebody, they say, you know what, if you don't buy this life insurance, you're not gonna get the loan. Or in order for you to get this, it's just like, you can't try to do things that are not part of the contract. Coercion is require condition of a loan that an applicant purchase an insurance from a specific insurer. If you see, it is an unfair, coercion is an unfair trade practice, which an agent uses physical or mental forces within the intent to inducing an applicant to purchase an insurance. So don't do it. Unfair discrimination. No discrimination at all costs. Discrimination in rates, premium, policy benefits in the same class, same life expectancy, it's illegal. No discrimination may be made into the basis of individual marital status, race, national origin, gender identity, sexual orientation, grade, ancestry, unless the distinction is made for a business purposes or required by law. So what they're saying is, do not do any discrimination. Because this person good looking, I'm gonna charge them less money than this person that not good looking. Because your financial is, you make more money than this person, I'm gonna charge you more money. You can't do that. Or because you bisexual, I'm gonna charge you more. You can't do that neither. So no discrimination. Now, if you're doing dangerous activity, that now I can do. If your lifestyle is different, that's different. It depends on occupation, I can charge you. There is where you can, discrimination is legal, but you have to make sure you don't do discrimination for like sex, origin, marital status, things like that, because you should not be doing it like that. Insurance fraud. So if you're doing fraud, that's a big no-no. Okay. Fraudulent Insurance Act include, but not limited to, act or omission knowing committed, because the person pretty much, you're doing it, you do it with an intent to injure the person, to defraud or to deceive. So you do that in purpose. So upon written request by an authorized agency to insure to an insurer, the insurer or an agent authorized by the insurer to act on its behalf may release to the authorized agency at the authorized agency expense any information that consider important relating to any suspected insurance fraud. An authorized agency may release information on the suspected insurance fraud to an insurer or an agent upon a showing of good cause within 30 days of request. So if there is a request because they feel like somebody doing a fraud, 30 days to comply. Any person who committed fraudulent insurance act is guilty of a felony, punishable, and they can put you in jail up to 4 years. And you can pay a fine up to $50,000 or both. And you have to pay to restitution. That's when to pay, we pay back fees that include all that proceeding. A person who entered into an agreement or conspiracy to commit a fraudulent insurance act is guilty of a felony, punishable by imprisonment for more than 10 years. Or they can charge you a fine not exceed $50,000 or both. So what they're saying is, don't do it. Any agent, insured, or other person who make false, because not just that, dishonest or fraudulent certificate or report of death, sickness, or disability of any kind of attempt to collect a claim, payment, or insurer will be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor and also a conviction. So the violator may be fined up to $1,000, and also they can put you in jail for 3 months. So this is the rule of Michigan. Privacy, consumer privacy. So you have to make sure everybody get the privacy notice so that all the information will be safe, because this is part of the rule. Make sure you protect people's privacy. So don't just take people information to it all over. If it was yours, you have to take care of it. So make sure you do that. So I'm gonna try to explain to you a little bit different about consumer and customer. A consumer is somebody you do one deal with. You deal with that person one time, that's it. You become a consumer. What about the customer? A customer means it's a consumer who has customer relationship with somebody. So that's mean a customer, that's when you have to be able to contact that person every now and then. They contact you. You keep, there's an ongoing business. So don't be surprised you have to give them a privacy notice maybe every year. Okay. Non-public information, what is that? Information that should not be public, like somebody's health information, medical information. That's also protected by federal law, HIPAA, okay? Publicly available information. So any list, description. So there is information that need to stay private, they're non-public, so you should not be distributed to any person. Personal identifiable financial information provided by a client, let's say for example, provided by a consumer, maybe to a licensee to obtain insurance product from that, maybe bank accounts, maybe credit card information, maybe social, whatever that thing is. So some stuff is private, they stay private. That's why sometimes you sit with the client, what happened in Vegas, stay in Vegas, because you don't want to take those information, bring them everywhere. The Michigan Administrative Code outline the rule that establish the standard for safeguarding customers' financial information. So each licensee required to implement a comprehensive written information security program. So you got to have a way to protect, to safeguarding the consumer financial information by puts a program in place, a comprehensive written information how to safeguard people information, either technical or physical, electronically, doesn't matter. So those things have to be, make sure they're secure, they're confidential. They have to treat them, with integrity. So make sure those things, there's a way to make sure you protect people information. All right, so a violation of any requirement in this regulation is unfair method of competition or unfair or maybe deceptive act and practice in the conduct of business of insurance and state. So you have to make sure you ensure the security and confidentiality of customer information. You have to protect them against any anticipated threats, hazards of security, maybe, or integrity of information. You also have to protect them against unauthorized access to people that, bad people out there, say, scammers, bad guys. Okay, make sure you protect your client's information. Like, meaning that if you're using a device, make sure it's encrypted. Okay, make sure you protect them, make sure you have password, make sure you don't just take people's information, put in a piece of paper, put them everywhere. All right, or just leave them into your car. Make sure you have a way also to protect people's information. So let's do a little recap here and some numbers before we finish this session. This is some numbers you are supposed to know. 18, that's the age to be licensed. Age to get your license, you have to be 18. Pre-licensing education requirement is 20 hours for life license only, single line. If you're gonna do both license, dual line or combined line licenses, you have to do 40 hours pre-licensing class. You have to file your certificate of completion of the pre-licensing education 12 months. Okay. You also have to do continuing education requirements every 2 years, which is 24 hours, including 3 hours in ethics, which is this right there. 3 hours must be in ethics. Then also remember, you can also do an extra 12 hours toward your CE, no more than 12 hours can carry over. So if you're going to exam, they give you a scenario where the person do like 48 hours CE, but also only 12 hours is going to be able to carry over. For insurer to file a notice, producer appointments, you got the insurance company have 15 days to file. to the appointment notice. To notify the commission that the appointment termination is 30 days to let them know that, hey, listen, this person fired. And also 30 days to let you know you're going to be fired as well. Length of temporary license is 180 days, or what we're referring to 6 months to get a license, only for 3 types of people. A surviving spouse of a deceased producer, somebody in the military, or somebody who's physically or mentally incompetent. Also, to reinstate a lapsed license without having to take the written examination, you have to do that in 12 months. After 12 months, you have to do everything again, boo-boo, okay? There's some other regulation you have to know. To report changes, name change or address, either physical or electronic, 30 days to report that. Same thing if to report administrative action or criminal prosecution, you have to do that in 30 days as well. Now, also remember $5 for that's maximum allowed value if you are doing any advertising, any gift, so you don't violate the rebating rule. $5 for life and $10 for property and casualty. No more than that. If you do more than 5 in life, you're gonna be in violation. So be careful. If it is a property and casualty, $10. So now, as we're gonna do a little chapter recap for you, licensing process. The minimum age should be licensed 18 years old, complete requirement pre-licensing education, pass examination, submit the application and pay the fee, be in good character, also be competent, be trustworthy, have not committed any violation that are ground for license denial, okay? Type of license you can have an individual producer license, a resident license, where you just do it for that specific state where you are resigned. Also, you can do a non-resident for another state. And in order for you to get a counselor, you have to be able to audit insurance policies, also provide an advice and counsel of the type of policy you doing the counselor job for. Also, temporary license is issued for continuation of a business in case a producer's death or disability for 180 days. And at a time that gives the person enough time to go get their own license. Business entity must be licensed, okay? Have a designated producer. That's when somebody who's licensed to run that business. Maintenance and duration. You must renew your license every 2 years. If you were born into an even year, you have to do it 2 years after in that even year. Okay, if it is an odd year, you have to renew it on the odd year that you're born, 2 years. Continuing education must be completed every licensing period. Okay, also you have to report change, address, phone numbers, and administrative actions. You know, you got to report those things. License is not required if a person does not receive commission. Make sure you know that. Somebody who's doing clerical work, or maybe the officers, maybe the supervisors of that place, the manager of that place. Disciplinary action, license denial, suspension, revocation, or refusal to renew. Also monetary fine and imprisonment. So if you do those things, bad stuff, they can deny your license, suspend your license, revocation license, or they can refuse to renew it. Also, they can fine you money and they can put you in jail. What's some other things you probably need to know? You must be licensed in the line of authority in which the agent transacts insurance. So if you become a license to do life insurance or health insurance, you got to be licensed, or counselor, or maybe property and casualty, you got to be licensed. Must be appointed by an insurance company to do like insurance on behalf of a company. That's because after you listen to all this good stuff and you go past that exam, think you're good, you can go start writing business, start go crazy telling everybody, hey, listen, now I'm licensed, guy, come on, let me do life insurance for you. Like you go ballistic crazy. And no, you can't do that. You got to find an authorization. An appointment is an authorization to do business on behalf of a company. Then you will represent that insurance company, because your action will be the action. Okay. Commission and compensation. You may only be paid to or share with a proper licensed producer. So the person that can receive commission is somebody who's licensed, and the only person you can share commission with is somebody who's also licensed. If those people are not licensed, you share money with them, that's also considered rebating. Also, you're gonna violate the commission as well. Then you'll be put yourself in trouble as well. You get, disciplinary action against you. Fiduciary duties is when you act as a trust capacity in handling premium of an insurance company. Okay, so when you handle the company money, you're acting as a fiduciary. Also, you must avoid unfair trade practice. Now, Insurer Regulation, that was Fiduciary Regulation we just covered, but the Insurer Regulation is responsible for agent appointments. Also to avoid unfair trade practice of claim settlement. So you, as a producer, you represent the insurance company. Make sure you do what best, not just for just you, but remember, when you become licensed, is you there to protect the insurance, to protect the insurance business. You're there to protect not just the insurance business, yourself. You're there to protect the clients. You're there to protect everybody who gets involved. So don't just go there, start doing some crazy things and not protecting yourself and also your clients. Hopefully that's helped. If you're in Michigan and you like the video, hey, post the comments. And if I have a chance, maybe I can do some test questions for you and maybe we can answer that video for you guys. Okay, don't forget to subscribe and give me the thumbs up and share with whoever might benefit from this video. Good luck to you.